Okay. Okay, we are in Deuteronomy 9, verse 4. Give everybody a moment to get there. Okay. Do not say in your heart, when the Lord your God has driven them out before you, because of my righteousness the Lord has brought me into the possession of this land. But it is because of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord is dispossessing them before you. So, trying to make a point to remind them, don't think this is all about you. I mean, think about how many times God wanted to destroy them. I mean, right away, think about it. As soon as they get out of Egypt and they get across the Red Sea, so you've got the Egyptian army destroyed, then what happens? First thing they do, Moses goes up to get the 10 Commandments, and they go for a golden calf, make a golden calf to start worshiping. What the heck? Yahweh just got you out of Egypt, parted the Red Sea, and you're already building a golden calf to worship, something that has no power that you made? Yeah, Yahweh wanted to destroy them then. So he's trying to remind them, do not think this is about you. This was a promise to your say grandparents, great-great-grandparents, whatever. But it's a promise to your forefathers. It's not all because of you. So keep that in mind. It is not for your righteousness or for the uprightness of your heart that you are going to possess this land, but it is because of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord your God is driving them out before you, in order to confirm the oath which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Being specific, it's not because of you. It's because of them that you're getting this land. I mean, again, do you remember what Yahweh told Moses after he saw them building the golden calf? He told him, I'm just going to kill them all, and I'll start an even bigger nation through you. It's not like he couldn't do it. He'd already done it once. He could do it again. It's just about time. And for Yahweh, time is nothing. So for him, that was the first thought. Now, he relented after Moses talked to him, prayed about 40 days and 40 nights. But this was not a simple thing. Know then, it is not because of your righteousness that the Lord your God is giving you this good land to possess. For you are a stubborn people. Well, I think some of them say stiff-necked people. I like that translation. Sorry. You all know I read multiple translations when I do this, and that's why, because sometimes I just like the words the other ones use.
My Bible says stiff-necked.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get that, because, there are a lot of people just, this is the way I see things. Well, you need to learn to look to your left and look to your right, because I can tell you, they're not saying redneck people, mind you. They're saying stiff-necked people, but, just saying. All right. Remember, you do not forget how you provoked the Lord your God to wrath in the wilderness from the day that you left the land of Egypt until you arrived at this place. You have been rebellious against the Lord. Think about it. They have. It's constant, right? Now we get to have a rundown of it here, and it's like, oh, yeah, that. Well, that, yeah, well, yeah. I'm just sitting there seeing the people of Israel. Well, yeah, there was that instance, and yeah, okay, that happened. So he goes through this. Even at Horeb, you provoked the Lord to wrath, and the Lord was so angry with you, he would have destroyed you. When I went up to the mountain to receive the tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant which the Lord had made with you, then I remained on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. I neither ate bread nor drank water. The Lord gave me 2 tablets of stone written by the finger of God, and on them were the words which the Lord had spoken with you on the mountain from the midst of the fire on the day of the assembly. It came about at the end of the 40 days and nights that the Lord gave me the 2 tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant. Then the Lord said to me, "Arise, go down from here quickly, for your people whom you brought out of Egypt have acted corruptly. They have quickly turned aside from the way which I commanded them, that they have made a molten image for themselves." I don't know about you all. The part I always like in that verse was always where he changes it and go down quickly from here for your people. All of a sudden, God's like, right this second, I'm not claiming them. Your people did. You know what your people are down there doing? Whoa, Yahweh, I thought they were your people. He's not wrong. I mean, you ever see people all of a sudden, oh no, that's not my thing, that's somebody else's. I used to have a neighbor that cows would get out and they get on our property all the time. So I think you get some cows out. Well, is there any damage? If you said no, yes, then they weren't his cows. You can keep the cows. If they didn't cause any damage, they're his cows, and he's on his way to get them right now. And I always found that amusing. But that's what I see here is just, oh, no, those are your people, Moses. Just, I understand the frustration is, I guess, my point. The Lord spoke further to me, saying, "I have seen this people, and indeed it is a stubborn people. Let me alone, that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven, and I will make you a nation mightier and greater than they." So I turned and came down from the mountain, while the mountain was burning with fire, and the 2 tablets of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I saw that you had indeed sinned against the Lord your God. You had made for yourself a molten calf, and you had turned aside quickly from the way which the Lord had commanded you. I took hold of the 2 tablets and threw them from my hands and smashed them before your eyes. Think about it. You just had these stone tablets that God gave you. And I don't know, we always have this, at least growing up in church, I always see this picture of the stone tablets in my head and think these are like 2-inch thick stone tablets and they're huge. Well, probably because they were always drawn that way. For me as a kid growing up, I mean, that's where I think I see it that way. I don't know, they could have been like this, but in my mind, they're about like this, Can you imagine hauling those down the mountain? You're going down some trail. There's not even really a trail there. You're halfway climbing down. And then you've worked for however long to get down this mountain. Because I'm thinking the mountain means it's not small. I mean, most of you have probably been to the Smoky Mountains. You go on a hike out there. Man, I can go out there for 3 hours. I still haven't hit the top of the mountain yet. So he's carried all these down this whole time, all to get down there and see him what? Making or worshiping a graven image, if you will, right? An idol. And just, I'm done. Just throw them down. You're so ticked with them. I get his frustration, but at the same time, God just gave you those, and I think you should
be more scared than
yeah.
the tablets.
I mean, written with the finger of God. Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm sorry. It seems pretty awesome to me. I fell down before the Lord at the first, as at first. 40 days and nights, I neither ate bread nor drank water because of your sin which you had committed in doing what was evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. So he just fell down. Now, think about this. How long was he up on the mountain? 40 days and 40 nights. Did he eat or drink for 40 days and 40 nights? Now, what is he just now doing? He's fallen prostrate before the Lord for 40 days and 40 nights. That's 80 days and 80 nights. Anybody ever think of that? This is not just he's going down. I doubt he came down and went, I'm so mad at them, but I'm going to get a nice steak dinner first. Then I'm going to go pray to the Lord. No, he just said he came down and fell down before the Lord as at the first, 40 days and 40 nights. I neither ate bread nor drank water because of all the sin that you had committed in doing this evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. That's a long time. But God sustained him through all of it because he was negotiating with God for their release from death, if you will, for the time being. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure which the Lord had wrathfully against you in order to destroy you. But the Lord listened to me this time also. The Lord was angry enough with Aaron to destroy him. So I also prayed for Aaron at the same time. Now, you remember why he would be mad at Aaron?
Well, he allowed the golden calf to be made.
Exactly. He was there.
He was like the leader.
The understanding is he was going out and helping pick up the gold to go make the thing. I mean, how much more involved can you be? He agreed to go along with it. They all told him, well, it's been 40 days, 40 nights. We don't know if Moses is still alive even. Ye of little faith. Man, everything that just happened, you think God just took away your leader. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I took your sinful thing, the calf which you had made, and burned it with fire and crushed it, grinding it until small, very small, until it was fine as dust. And I threw its dust into the brook that came down from the mountain. And again, it's golden, but keep in mind it was a golden overlay. That's why he could burn it and then crush it all up. So it's not like it was solid gold. And you don't want to think about trying to move something solid gold that's that large. Again, at Taberah and at Massah and at Kibroth Hattava, you provoked the Lord to wrath. When the Lord sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, go up and possess the land which I have given you, then you rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God. You neither believed him nor listened to his voice. You have been rebellious against the Lord from the day I knew you. So I fell down before the Lord for 40 days and nights, and I did because the Lord had said he would destroy you. I prayed to the Lord and said, "O Lord God, do not destroy your people, even your inheritance, whom you have redeemed through your greatness, whom you have brought out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Do not look at the stubbornness of this people or at the wickedness of their sin." He's trying to get it back to the forefathers here, the people that he made the promise to. Why? Because he knows these people are rebellious. And they are. They were always rebellious. Think about what you know of the Old Testament. Anytime you get more than 2 generations of good times with Yahweh, it all goes to crap. Because they decide we don't need this anymore. This doesn't matter. Let's go do it our way. That never works. But that's what they seem to do. He's just trying to remind them, I think. That's why he's going through all this. He's trying to make a point with them of, this is not good for you. This is constant. You've got to change your behavior, or you will not make it. I mean, keep in mind, from last week, all the reading there, it was all about, if you do not do what you're supposed to do and follow God's laws and commandments, you're going to lose this land. I think he knew they were going to. It was just a matter of time. He wasn't going to be there to talk them out of it. Otherwise, the land from which you brought us may say, because the Lord was not able to bring them into the land which he had promised them, and because he hated them, he brought them out of the land, out to slay them in the wilderness. Yet they are your people, even your inheritance, whom you have brought out of with your great power and your outstretched arm. At the time the Lord said to me, cut out for yourself 2 tablets of stone, like the former ones, and come up to me on the mountain and make an ark of wood for yourself. I'll write on the tablets the words that were on the former tablets, which you shattered, and you shall put them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood and cut out 2 tablets of stone, like the former ones, and went up on the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hand. He wrote on the tablets, like the former writing, the 10 commandments, which the Lord had spoken to you on the mountain from the midst of the fire on the day of the assembly, and the Lord gave them to me. Then I turned and came down from the mountain and put the tablets in the ark which I had made, and there they are, as the Lord commanded me. Basically, this time I'm telling you to put them in the ark so that you don't tear them up. Go down and immediately put them in the ark. We're not doing this again. And can't you see your parents doing that too? Your parents being there going, okay, you messed this up once. We're going to do this again. But this time, when you're done with your project, your school project, you're not tearing it up. You're going to go put it in this place. So it's safe.
I can't remember. Did God give him the tablets and the words already on there?
No. He had to carve them out. He had to carve them out both times. He says, I had to carve them out like before. Yeah.
I was wondering if like before is like what I gave you before, because to me that would be the kind of punishment I would have given you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. He had him carry them back up there again. Yeah. So he had to carry them up. So if you go back to 10:1, cut out for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the former ones, and come up to me on the mountain. So he had to go up the mountain on them to carry them up the mountain again. So it was punishment in that, I'm not even cutting this out. It's again, and we've talked about this before when we did the original, went through the actual 10 Commandments section here and where all this happened the first time. And it's not like the movie, The 10 Commandments. God doesn't cut the tablets out of the stone, okay? Moses had to cut the tablets out and bring them up to Yahweh. Then he did the writing on them and brought them back down. We always have these things in our head of how things happen, and it's all because we watched a movie. Don't get me wrong. Reasonable movie, but wrong several times over. So.
But doesn't Deuteronomy remain the second law?
Crud. That's one of the, as I recall, there are 2 interpretations. I can't remember what the other one is. But there are 2 interpretations for the word Deuteronomy. Go for it.
It says the word Deuteronomy means repetition of law.
And that's all we're doing is repeating everything again. That's all we've done in Deuteronomy. But makes sense. That's how they learned. Treat them like kids, right? So, picking up here at 10:6. Now the sons of Israel set out from Beroth, Bene Jenke, to Moserah. There Aaron died, and he was buried, and Eleazar, his son, ministered as priest in his place. From there they set out to Gadoth, and from Gadgotha to Jotbatha, a land of brooks of water. At the time, the Lord set apart the tribe of Levi to carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord and to stand before the Lord to serve him and to bless in his name until this day. Therefore, Levi does not have a portion or inheritance with his brothers and the Lord in his inheritance, just as the Lord your God spoke to him. Moreover, stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights like the first time. And the Lord listened to me this time also. The Lord was not willing to destroy you. Then the Lord said to me, Arise, proceed on your journey ahead of the people, that you may go in and possess the land which I swore to your fathers to give them. Now, Israel, what does the Lord your God require from you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways and love him, and to serve him, the Lord your God, with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the Lord's commandments and his statutes which I am commanding you today for your own good. So, pretty basic what they had to do. As we've said before, it's a whole lot less law than what we have to follow. And I'm not referring to this law, I'm referring to law of the land, if you will. It's a huge difference. It was pretty simple, straightforward stuff, too. Pretty much, honor the Lord your God, be kind to him, Do what he says. Really basic stuff. Don't hurt each other. When I say jump, ask how high. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. But it's your Creator. So, yes, listen. I believe it makes sense. Behold, to the Lord your God belong heaven and the highest heavens, the earth, and all that is in it. Yet on your fathers did the Lord set his affection to love them, and he chose their descendants after them, even you above all peoples, as it is this day. Now, when he says it against all people, keep in mind, we think of, and I mean, I'm guilty of doing it up here. I'm sitting here saying how bad Israel's been in not following Yahweh. But why are the other people being dispossessed from the land they're going to inherit? Because they were even worse. So yeah, Israel wasn't really good at following God's law, wasn't really good at following him at all. But the other lands, the other rulers, the other tribes that weren't part of the nation of Israel, they were really bad. And that's what this was all about, is that they're worse. He said, yeah, you're bad. These others are worse. So he chose you. It's kind of like when we go vote in politics, right? Do you choose the right candidate for the job? Of course not. Christ isn't running. So you choose the lesser of two evils. And I think to a degree, that's what God did here. He looked at the people on the earth and went, I'll take them. I'll take the Israelites. It's the best option. So I just think it's relevant to understand that because a lot of times we sit and think, why did he choose Israel? As many things as they did wrong. Because he's God. He knows what they're going to do. Because he knows the other people are going to be worse. That's why.
A lot of times it's just the lesser of two evils.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So circumscribe your heart and stiffen your neck no longer. For the Lord your God is the God of gods and the Lord of lords, the great, the mighty, and the awesome God who does not show partiality nor take a bribe. Now, why mention talking about taking a bribe? Because it was commonplace in that time. People took a bribe for anything and everything. However you could make a buck. No. It's like Larry, Daryl, and Daryl, for those of you that remember that show. The second Bob Newhart show. The whole thing. What was their motto? Anything for a buck. That was what their whole thing was. And it showed. Oh no, they didn't care about it. They just wanted to survive. There's a difference there now. I don't think theirs was for the love of money. I think theirs was for the love of surviving. Of course, we only have one of them that speaks to ask, so in that show. He executes justice for the orphans and the widows, and shows his love for the alien by giving him food and clothing. Okay, got to talk about this one for just a minute. So, justice for the orphan and the widow. So let's use the widow as the example first here. So, what happened to the daughters, the man that was, the father that was deceased? They went and said, hey, wait a minute, now we're not going to get any inheritance. Yahweh came back and said, yeah, that's right, so let's fix that. Why? Because he's a just God. They set up a situation where he said, well, what happens to us? We're on our own now. We've got nobody. We're not married. We've got nothing. And they may have been married, but keep in mind the way things work. You can be married, but as soon as if your husband dies, you go back to your family. That's how it worked at this time.
At one time, it was you went to the brother.
True, and that does too, but at this point, we just know that their father's dead. They're kind of, okay, we don't think they had brothers, or else they probably would have been taken care of by the brothers. So they were on their own, just 3 sisters. Like, wait a minute, now we've got nothing? We're paupers because our father died? Because we didn't have brothers? So they went to Moses. Moses went, let me talk to God about this. God came back and said, you're right, that's a problem. Guess what? You get a full inheritance. You get your father's share. Makes sense. We're good. This is how you're going to treat women going forward. So he's a just God, and he made sure here, he said, okay, no problem. This makes sense. Let's take care of that. Orphans and widows, yeah, same thing, I'm sure. If there were children there, God did his best to take care of them. He provided laws. We see more of them the further we go in the Old Testament here. But he's a just God. He takes care of these things. And his love for the alien, shows his love for the alien by giving him food and clothing. Yeah, that's entirely true. Because they have people living in the land of Israel or along the Israelites during this time, right? They're called sojourners. They're just going there for work. But here's the caveat, and I want to make this clear. Those sojourners, which were the aliens among the nation of Israel, did they have to follow the laws? Yes, they had to follow the laws of the nation of Israel. So every law that Moses had given to the people, the aliens had to follow. The sojourners had to follow. If they didn't, what happened? They kicked them out. Said, you're gone. Get out of here. You can't be here. Either you follow the laws of the land or you get out. Those are your choices. And in some cases, it was, they won't follow the rules, you just kill them. We're not putting up with that. So I say this because this has been referenced. This is one of the verses that people like to reference today in regard to we should accept all these illegal aliens into the country. Now, why do I use the term illegal aliens versus aliens? Because they're illegal because they came here illegally. We have laws that say you are welcome to come here. Here's how you do it. Here are your 2 or 3 different ways to do it. These people don't do it. Therefore, they are violating our laws. Therefore, they would not be welcome here among the nation of Israel. As an example, I'm just saying, if people want to use this to say that we should accept all the people that want to come to this country, they haven't read this. Because we've talked about this in Numbers and Deuteronomy. In fact, I think shortly after Exodus, because there were people that left with them. So they've had sojourners among them for a long time. And as long as those people followed the law of the land, which in this case was the nation of Israel, everything was fine. But if you didn't, we either kill you or kick you out. One of the two. Please.
What's going on in America is totally contrary to the Word of God.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw this past week some so-called Christian pastors. They were having a forum and welcoming all religions.
Yeah.
It's contrary to the Word of God.
Yeah.
And so let's get the Muslims in here. We honor you, we accept you, whatever, and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Christianity's on down the
Yep.
tubes.
Entirely true. I have to bring up something I meant to bring up at the front of this. You all know I usually try to do this at the first, and I always forget by the end, but it got me thinking about this today. I try to point out things that are religious that are in the news that you might want to be aware of. So everybody know that now a man has been charged in Britain, England, whatever you want to call it. He's been charged with violating free speech laws because he burnt the Quran. So now they're trying to implement Islamic laws over there, and they've succeeded. They fined him $500 for burning the Quran. So that means it's not about, and it was all because he burned it where someone could be offended by it. Boy, it's not why we have free speech in this country, and I'm glad we do, but if it's happening there, it's coming here. So please be aware of that. Think about that.
Yeah, haven't the Muslims taken over Britain?
Largely, yeah. I mean, you've already got Londonistan, and, that's all Hey, that's what I'm going to call it from now on.
Hadn't heard that one.
Oh, I've been calling it that for years. Well, I mean, you've got a Muslim mayor of London. He's destroyed the place. Stabbings are way up. Murders are way up. It's Londonistan, someplace you don't want to go. Okay, so again, just trying to be clear on that. So let's pick up again on 19 here. So show your love for the alien, for you were aliens in the land of Egypt. Okay, let's clarify this one. This is another one's being used for the same purpose. Were they an alien in the land of Egypt? Yes, but they're not talking about when they were slaves in Egypt. They're talking, what were they when they first came to Egypt? When they first came to Egypt, first off, Joseph started out as a slave, right? That's how he got there. And then once he rose to second in command, basically, of Egypt, his 70 relatives were there. 70 including himself. So there were 70 Israelites. That's what started this. Now, they went from being sojourners or aliens in the land, which is how they started. So this is correct. Show your love for the alien. For you were aliens in the land of Egypt. They were. But in time, they went from being aliens to being slaves because they were prospering. They were increasing in number. Egypt had a problem with that. You know the rest of the story. But I'm just trying to point out that that's what they're referring to. They're not referring to when they were slaves. They were referring to how did they come there? How did they come to be in the land of Egypt? So that's why. But when they went there, were they invited? Yes. Were they offered land? Yes. Because they were invited there. They were there legally. With the king's permission, they were there. That's what I'm trying to make clear here. Okay? All right. You shall fear the Lord your God, and you shall serve him and cling to him, and you shall swear by his name. He is your praise, and he is your God, who has done these great and awesome things for you, which your eyes have seen. So in other words, don't remember, you've seen, because it doesn't matter. I understand that the people that are alive today aren't the people that came out of the land of Egypt, right? They aren't. Those people have died off. But have they not seen miracles? Have they not seen them walk in, 12,000 people walk in and completely defeat other armies with zero casualties, zero loss? Well, yeah. That just doesn't happen. Especially, today, maybe that could happen, but we wouldn't be sending in 12,000 people. We'd be sending in 12,000 drones. That's how nobody gets killed, right? But in this time, you're talking about sending in 12,000 people because it was 1,000 from every tribe. So if you look at the odds, without Yahweh controlling it, there's no way. It's just not possible. Somebody's going to get in there and get killed. Didn't happen. So it's something to be very aware of. So they have seen what God can and has done for them. That's my point. Your fathers went down to Egypt, 70 persons in all, and now the Lord your God has made you as numerous as the stars of heaven. Anybody remember what our estimate is? The number of people in Israel now? No, at this point, 2 million plus. Enough to scare the heck out of anybody that they march towards. Because we don't know. It's one of those, how many kids do they have? Doing the basic math, one a year? This is not odd. And as we've said, and this is something, I think we read this after we did the original calculations. They said that they had not lost... none of their cattle had been, stillborn. None of the children had been stillborn. Everyone had survived. So therefore, if you figure one per year, now we're, instead of thinking of, child deaths, happening, no, God was taking care of all that. So during this time, everybody lived. Even all their cattle were they said none of them were barren. Well, if they're not barren, normal human activity here, I'm seeing having a kid every year. This is just reality for a long time. So just think about that. So it might be a higher number, it might be 3 million, but it's a huge number. That's my point. All right. You shall therefore love the Lord your God and always keep his charge, his statutes, his ordinances, and his commandments. Know this day that I am not speaking with your sons who have not known and who have not seen the discipline of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his outstretched arm, and his signs and his works, which he did in the midst of Egypt to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, into all his land. And you remember, I think we talked about it last week or week before, they were told they were supposed to be talking about the things that they had seen and things that had happened in their house, in their household, so that their children who weren't there in Egypt knew what happened, were told the stories of what happened. And I think I've told you all before, but I know for me, I loved sitting around the floor listening to my father and my grandfather talk. I got all kinds of information. I learned more about that. I mean, that was, talk about your family history just because they were sitting there talking. I enjoyed it. I really got a lot out of that. It was really nice. And that's why God told them to talk about it in the house, so that you can educate your children, so that they know, so that they're part of this as well, and they know the history. They know what has been done for them. Don't repeat the same mistakes, hopefully. And that's the intent. Keep in mind, things weren't written down, primarily. Some were, but not everybody was reading, so it's important to remember that. Okay. And what he did to the Egyptian armies, I think that's where I'm picking up the right place. Sorry. I think so. Okay. We'll go back. And his signs and his works, which he did in the midst of Egypt to Pharaoh and the kings of Egypt and to all his land. And what he did to Egypt's army, to its horses and its chariots, when he made the water of the Red Sea to engulf them while they were pursuing you, and the Lord completely destroyed them. And what he did to you in the wilderness when you came to this place, and what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, when the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them, their households, their tents, every living thing that followed them among all Israel. But your own eyes have seen all the great works that the Lord which he did. You shall therefore keep every commandment which I am commanding you today, so that you may be strong and go in and possess the land into which you are about to cross to possess it, so that you may prolong your days on the land which the Lord swore to your fathers to give them and to their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. I mean, sounds pretty reasonable, doesn't it? He reminds them of what the Lord can do to them. That, hey, if you don't go along with this, earth might just swallow you up. Yes, it's feasible.
Sinkhole.
Yeah. Saw a lot of those in Marshall County. Yeah. About swallowed my tractor once. It's just a good reminder for them to say, look, everything can be great. You're walking into a land flowing with milk and honey. They are. They're walking in. Everything's pre-built. Vineyards are pre-planted. Wheat is pre-planted. All they have to do is walk in. That's it. I mean, even if you're buying a new house, you buy a house and you go, great, I'm getting my exact layout. I've got this house. I'm walking into it. This is going to be fantastic. Is it got self-planted with all the shrubs you wanted? Have they grown to the size you want already? Have you got a garden already pre-done out there ready for you when you move into that new house? Has it got all your favorite veggies and everything else? You got some strawberry plants out there. You have some apple trees. No, you got to plant those and wait. But they didn't. They're walking into land. Everything's there. I mean, If you all remember Arrington Vineyards in Franklin, I just use that example because some of you may know where that is or have driven by it before. And, they opened, but they didn't open for another 7, 8 years. Why? Because it takes time to grow all the vines out. It takes time to train them. It takes time to get enough grapes. Then you have to age the wine that you created. So this is, the point is, it's a time-consuming process. And this is something that the nation of Israel isn't going to have to go through. They're walking in and all of this is ready. It's like buying a farm and everything's already done. Well, they've already plowed the fields for the year. All the crops are planted. Just come on in. That doesn't happen. The farmer sells in the fall once he's got all the crops out. That's how this works, right? I mean, just trying to put this in perspective for you of how much Yahweh's planned ahead for them and prepared everything for them. Okay. You shall therefore keep every commandment which I have commanded you today, so that you may be strong and go in and possess the land in which you're about to cross to possess it. Again, just trying to put the point of, okay, you're about to walk in, get ready to have your mind blown, but just remember, all you got to do is walk in and take it. Because keep in mind, what happened last time he told them, we're ready to go into the land of milk and honey. But there'd be giants there. I'm not going. That's basically what they did, right? How'd that work out for them? 40 years wandering in the desert because you wouldn't listen. He's trying to make a point of how good this land is. Okay, so we're picking up on 10 here. For the land in which you are entering to possess is not like the land of Egypt from which you came, where you had to sow your seed and water it with your foot like a vegetable garden. Do you know what he's talking about there? I had to look it up, make sure I was right.
Is that those wheels where they had to...
That's part of it, yeah. Water wheels,
wheels?
which is part of it. The whole thing was they had to go out there and, okay, I'm going to dig a trench with my foot as I go along, or grab a hoe and dig a trench. Why? Because they're having water from the Nile. But the land is above the Nile. So then they've got water wheels that they have to manually pump with their feet to get the water wheel to carry water from the Nile to dump it into the trench they just created with their foot or a hoe. That's how they were watering their crops. So it wasn't like it rained in Egypt. So just trying to put it in perspective. I mean, we've all seen places that have, are irrigated like that. You've seen pictures of it or whatever, videos. But that's what they were used to, is that they had to go do all this manually and get water from, because they had pretty much flat land in Egypt. But again, it was still above the Nile. So the Nile, you had to get the water from the Nile, pump it up to get it into the trenches that you built to water your fields. Now, here, that wasn't going to be an issue because here, it was going to rain. And they had hills and they had valleys, and you were going to get water everywhere. So you were going to be able to raise crops on these hills. I mean, most of the time you see grapes, where are they? They seem to be on a hillside somewhere, right? So that seems to be the way that's grown. I don't know a lot about growing grapes. I mean, I've had them before, but I'm just saying that's a perspective. So now they've got good land for that. And it's going to not be something that they have to manually water. They're not going to have to carry water up there, because otherwise, how are you going to get to come down the hillside? No, it's actually going to rain. They're not used to that. Think about it. After 40 years in the desert and a whole new crowd of people, literal, they probably haven't seen much rain. But now it's all going to rain. It's going to provide that for them. So they're not going to have to deal with all the work that they're accustomed to, is the point of it all. It says, but the land into which you're about to cross to possess it, it is a land of hills and valleys, drinks water from the rain of heaven, a land which the Lord your God, for which the Lord your God cares. The eyes of the Lord your God are always on it from the beginning even to the end of the year. That sounds pretty cool. God's watching it. He's taking care of making sure you got the right amount of water. And anybody that's been around here, drought still happens. I don't know about you all, anybody that had to feed animals, I was in trouble getting enough hay last year because a lot of people didn't get a second cutting, including the guy I buy from. So I was in trouble. Thankfully, we've had a good year so far this year with rain. And you got to buy it when you can. So this year, I'm buying enough to make sure I'm prepared for a drought in the coming years. So I have extra. But God's watching this land. He's going to take care of it for them. So we're going to go ahead and stop there, which means we will be picking up, I think that says 13. So at 11:13 next week. Let me go ahead and stop my recording here.